How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Zootopia 2. Disney's newest animated movie and sequel is finally out, starring Jennifer Goodwin, Jason Bateman, Kikwe Hwan. Sorry if I mispronounced the name, by the way. And after the events of the first Zootopia, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are finally partners, but things have gotten messy with some of their cases, and threats of being separated are being thrown at them. Meanwhile, a snake has been spotted in Zootopia, and it's been 100 years since the snake has been in Zootopia, and there's a lot to uncover about the true founding of Zootopia. Uh, Judy and Nick get framed and are on the run and have to team up with the snake to uncover the truth. Now, the first Zootopia, I can't believe it's going to be 10 years since Zootopia came out. It came out, I think, March 2016. It wasn't November like a lot of Disney movies tend to come out. But I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking, wow, this is a lot more mature than other Disney movies. Not to say it's not for kids, but I think there's a lot more that adults will understand than kids, whether it be the jokes, references, the social commentary. So when it came to Zootopia 2 being announced, you're kind of wondering, like, is it right? Because the first Zootopia, I think, is not only one of the best movies to come out from Disney in the last 10 years. I think it's definitely the best animated movie to come out, but it's one of Disney's best movies, period. It's well animated, it's got a great story. The only thing I wasn't crazy about with the first Zootopia was the plot twist that Bellwether was the villain. Not to say it was the worst twist villain thing done right. I think the first Frozen movie with Hans did it worse, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling that plot twist that they tried going for. But besides that, the first Utopia is amazing, and based on Disney's record with their sequels, I haven't been crazy about their sequels. I was okay with Moana 2, but Frozen 2, I think, was wasted potential. I think Ralph Breaks the Internet was wasted potential. Will Zootopia be wasted potential? Will it just be an okay movie to one of the best anime movies to come out? And I think overall, Zootopia 2, for the most part, is a great movie. I think this movie did what it was supposed to do and carry the legacy of the first movie. I mean, Judy and Nick, you just love their partnership and their friendship. They've got their differences, but they also care about one another. Neither one is better than the other. Like, they equally have their faults and their weaknesses. And there's even a heartwarming scene at the end of the movie where the two of them are opening up about their insecurities, about their flaws. And I just enjoy stuff like that. And it's really this friendship and partnership that they have that is the heart and soul of these Utopia movies. And then you got the new character named Gary, voiced by Kikwe Kwan. And this character, he's so innocent and charming as well. A character like this could equally be annoying, as well as this beaver character that's also in the movie that's a podcaster and a parody slash reference to conspiracy theorists in real life. I thought these characters were going to be annoying, but they were actually funny and add to the plot of the movie. This is one area that Zootopia 2 succeeds that I think Disney sequels that introduce new characters have it. They actually introduce characters that add to the plot that are funny and not annoying to this movie. And also, it continues those themes that the first Zootopia had, the social issue theme, but it's not pandering, it's not thrown in your face, and it's surrounded brilliantly by all this humor that people are going to laugh at. And the humor of this movie, by the way, is hilarious. In fact, I think me and any other adults that were in the movies, theater that I was in, we were probably laughing more than the kids in the theater because we got the jokes, the references that were in the movie. But Zootopia 2 knows how to do that. Both Zootopia movies are that kind of anime movie that adults are going to enjoy, kids are going to enjoy, but there might be some moments that even the adults will enjoy more than the kids. And the references, like I've heard some people complain that the references do get to be too much and they do get annoying. I only felt that way when they were doing the little Disney IP promotions that are in the movie a few times. those were the only references I thought were going to get a little annoying, but luckily they don't overdo it with that. But I enjoyed like the references, whether it be the Godfather references or there's a reference to The Shining later on in this movie. There's a reference to Silence of the Lambs. Apparently, they wanted to make it longer, but it got cut. I'm disappointed they cut it. Like it looked like they wanted to go for that Silence of the Lambs reference, but they cut it. I don't know why. And then they got those little things with the Disney references, where Zootopia has its own version of Hulu. They have their own version of movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Alien, basically anything that's Disney owned. Luckily, those references aren't too much, but I feared that they would. That was going to be another Ralph breaks the internet situation where breaks the internet through like the Disney site onto us, and I think they spent way too much time on that stuff to promote it. But luckily, they don't. The songs and scores are great as always. I think the animation looks even better than it did with the first movie. Granted, it's been over a decade, but particularly how the snake looked, Gary looked, I thought that was well animated, and it felt like watching like 3D animated version of some of the snakes from the Disney movies from the late 60s and early 70s with Jungle Book and Robin Hood. They did a really good job, and I feel like that was a little nice homage as well to that. And back to the social issue thing. Obviously, adults are going to understand it more than kids, but as I said, it wasn't pandering, and it's with a group of animals. In this case, it's the reptiles. They're seen as the animals that are being mistreated. That they were kicked out of their homes and don't have that much land. But it's also a nice nod to the expansion of Zootopia, because we've seen this with the other sequels where they try to expand their universe. Frozen 2 tried to expand the Frozen universe. I think Moana did it as well, and I think they did an okay job with it with Moana 2, but I think Zootopia 2 does it very well, where they explore these other animals that weren't even in the first Zootopia movie, exploring the history of Zootopia and the dark history of it, the dark secret, because there's like a murder that happened 100 years ago, and there's like a little murder mystery with it as well, trying to get to the truth, like who really did found Zootopia and all that. And I enjoyed that they embraced that darker tone as well, because again, like the other sequels, they try to embrace it, but they don't fully embrace it. Frozen 2, I think, tried to embrace like the dark past of Arendelle, but they just didn't go for it. Zootopia 2, I think, goes for it a lot more in this movie. And there's like a few times that the characters are trying to kill other characters. And there are some dark, serious moments in this movie. And some people might criticize the fact that sometimes it's followed up with a joke. And yeah, that's a criticism for Marvel movies as well, or other superhero movies. But I think Zootopia 2 executes it well. Like, for example, there's one part, like minor spoiler of the movie. There's one part of the movie where the cops are chasing after Judy Hopps, and they're trying to shoot her with like one of those lethal things. Well, not try, shoot her accidentally. The trigger goes off accidentally, and she's about to get hit. But then that sloth from the first Zootopia, yeah, even though he's very slow, he drives in quickly and the car hits it. But like, and right before that, he's hilariously driving so fast after being so slow with talking and rolling down the window and starting the car, and he just like dashes in, and the injection hits the car, no one else. Like stuff like that, they know how to balance that out and follow it up with a joke well. I feel like that's actually something Marvel movies can learn, how to follow up a serious moment with a joke done right. Now, is Utopia 2 a perfect movie? No. The one thing that I think does hurt the movie for me is, as I mentioned before, my only gripe with the first Utopia was the twist villain and how they handle it. Zootopia 2 does it again. They have another twist villain, but I think it was done poorly. Now, this movie does have quite a few villains in the movie, and they're still the villains even after the twist villain thing happens. The twist villain's more like connected to the other villains without spoiling the movie. I know it's been out for over a week, but I know some people haven't seen it yet. It's like, why did you need to have that as a twist villain? In fact, the way they were doing the character, I thought was actually pretty unique. And I think if they had just kept going with that and not have a twist villain arc, the movie would have been fine. It didn't need to have a twist villain. If anything, I just felt like it was meant to add more drama that wasn't necessary for the beginning of the third act. Like those events still could have happened without a twist villain. And with Bellwether, at least like it made a little sense, even though I didn't like how it was handled for her to be a twist villain. Here, it didn't really make all that much sense to the character. It just felt like something that was just thrown in last minute that could have been built up better and executed better, but it wasn't. And it almost took me out of the movie. Now, the rest of the movie was fine, but I don't know. I didn't like how it was done, the twist film thing. In fact, not just the Zootopia movies. I said it before, Frozen. I think the twist villain thing with Frozen hurt it. Twist villains can be done right, but then it becomes a trope that gets old with animated movies. I wish they did something different with the villains. I mean, to be fair, at least the conflict of Zootopia 2 feels more real and serious than the conflicts from some of these other sequels that have come out from other movies. But besides that, I thought Zootopia 2 was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I thought the voice acting was fine. And I forgot to mention, they have like a mayor in this movie that's a parody of celebrities that get into politics. I don't know, he's trying to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it was Patrick Warburton voicing him in classic humorous Patrick Warburton style. But that's what I enjoy about Zootopia. Like they know how to do references and parodies, whether it's pop culture or real life, done right. And it is hilarious and works. But yeah, the humor, the characters, if they didn't have the twist film thing, I think this movie actually could have been just as good as the first Zootopia for me. But the twist film thing, I think, does fumble the story around. And I'm really glad how they expanded this world. And I think Zootopia, I don't know what the future of Zootopia is going to be. I thought years ago they said they wanted to give Zootopia spinoffs off Disney Plus. I don't know if that's still the plan. Maybe they'll do a third one. Regardless, I am excited to see what they do because this is a fun franchise and they did the sequel right. So if they do more, I'm not opposed to it. I would still like to see some original Disney animated movies come out, see some new, fresh ideas. But I don't mind sequels if they're done right. This was a sequel that was done right. Last year, Inside Out 2 from Pixar was a sequel that was done right. If you have a good concept and you can execute it well, go for it. But if you're just making a sequel for the sake of making money, then what's the point? I mean, yeah, you get the money, but are the fans really satisfied? Because I know Frozen 2, for example, made a ton of money, but I felt like it was a sequel that by the end of it was unnecessary. And that's crazy because I know you can probably do a lot with a Frozen sequel, but by the end of the movie, I was like, was it really needed? But yeah, overall, Zootopia 2 was great. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. My final grade for it is going to be an A minus. I hope one day I get to review the first Zootopia to go more all in on that movie and why I think that movie's excellent. But when I get the time to do it, I will review the first Zootopia. And yeah, what are your thoughts on Zootopia 2? Have you seen it? What you think about it? What's a Disney sequel that has not let you down? Zootopia 2 didn't let me down. You can also include some Pixar movies in there because there's been some good Pixar sequels. And honestly, I do think Zootopia 2 is actually a lot better than a lot of the Pixar sequels we've gotten. But to me, Toy Story 3 is still the best animated sequel to come out. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Zootopia 2? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe or rate if you haven't. Please share us with someone that enjoys Disney movies that wants to see Zootopia 2. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.